Cheers. Welcome everybody from Turkey, Van in Turkey. There's nobody in the chat room yet. Nobody has joined, so I'm just gonna talk here a little bit for myself. I just arrived in Van this afternoon. That's in the eastern part of Turkey. I entered Turkey from Iraq at a very, very small border, high up in the mountains. And I'm really happy to be in Turkey now. I think we have one person who has arrived. Who is here? Let me know. Broken Rib Vids. Hi. Welcome. Oh, nu er der 6. Who has entered? I see we are 6 people now. Welcome everybody. Simon fra Aalborg. Fotomanden fra Derby. Hvor fedt. Velkommen. Okay, I better keep it in English because there are more than us two here now. So welcome to Van in Turkey. I hope the sound is fairly okay. I'm in a cafe. I just arrived in this city, Van. And CT90 Travels is already throwing questions here. Let me just introduce here. I just arrived in Turkey, and from the border from Kurdistan, Iraqi Kurdistan, in a tiny border in the mountains in the very, let me see, southeastern corner of Turkey, high up in the mountains. It's a border you can't even really see it anywhere on the map. At least I had to really look for it, but it was quite nice. Okay, the sound is good. Thank you. Samdeesen is cooking, so he's listening. That's good. And CT Travels, I plan to be in Turkey about 3 weeks. Yeah, that's the plan. 3-4 weeks maximum. No, 3 weeks. I'm running out of time, guys, which is really sad because I'm used to being able to just travel really slow. But I have actually a deadline now. I want to be back in Denmark by end of July because my niece is getting married on the 5th of August. And I need to be home and just, land and get myself a dress and write a speech and just I can't arrive the day before. So I want to be home at least a week before. And I have a lot of miles to cover. But I'm gonna spend most of that time in Turkey because I've never been to Turkey before. Once I hit Europe, I'm like, okay, I don't need to invest my time in Europe. I guess I am in Europe now, right? Isn't Turkey Europe? Help me out, guys. I'm quite sure I'm in Europe now. But anyways, you know what I mean? Once I hit the border to Bulgaria, I'm pretty much just gonna rush through Europe to make it home to Denmark. So that's the plan as it is now. And I'm really happy to be in Turkey now. I have to say the last period has been a little bit tough for me. I think the Middle East was really a big experience, but the heat kind of got to me in the end. And it just took a lot of my energy, and then I decided to cross through Iraq, and Iraq is not an easy country. I'd say if you are starting out as an adventure rider, it's not the country to go through. I'm really experienced in terms of border crossings, and I like to think that I know how to deal with officials and I can be really patient with border crossings, etc. But Iraq was difficult for me to deal with. Even if it was extremely friendly, like it's probably the most friendly country I've visited so far, but it was just so intense and hectic, and as soon as I left the hotel I just had attention, like massive attention all the time, to a degree that it wasn't really fun anymore. And the heat as well, like the heat in Baghdad was just killing me. And at some point I actually thought I was gonna faint. I just kind of lost it on the bike, so I pulled over. I walked up to this little kiosk, walked in, and fortunately they had aircon, and they let me sit there, and then suddenly the entire neighborhood were kind of invested in saving me. It was really amazing. And this local guy, Abdullah, from the restaurant next door, he just took it upon him to kind of like adopt me and take care of me and feed me, and you know, he picked me up later that same night and took me around Baghdad, and it was just amazing. But it was a little bit critical, and the problem was that the military will escort you from the border from Jordan to Baghdad. You will get military escort, and it means that you are now out of control of when are you going to have a break, when do you need shade, when do you need water, when do you need anything, and you got to go with them, and they go extremely slow, and for every 40-50 kilometers they stop, and then a new vehicle will take over, and then it's going to take like 20-30 minutes of waiting time there in the sun in freaking 38-40 degrees. And that day was really hard for me, and after that I didn't really kind of get the energy up for Iraq anymore, and I just started a little bit hating the military checkpoints, and I really felt that it was important that I got out of Iraq as soon as possible, which is a shame because Iraq is also a really lovely country, but it's just a country that has been through so much, and they are so longing for contact with people from the outside, and the men are longing for contact with women, and I was like really swarmed, and I would like trucks and cars and motorcycles would literally chase me, try to push me off the road. They would block me. They would, you know, to just get me to stop, to just take selfies with me, and it felt extremely unsafe. It was unsafe. So for several reasons, and I mean the heat also played a huge factor. I just thought that Iraq was a bit much for me, honestly. And then finally I made it to Kurdistan, and Kurdistan was a whole different ballgame. It was just way more relaxed, and you're up in the mountains, and suddenly the temperatures fell to a decent level that I could actually deal with. And then I crossed into Turkey, and the last 2 nights I've been wild camping, so I haven't had any internet or network. I don't have a SIM card yet. I've just been out in nature completely alone, and I think that's exactly what I needed after that experience in Iraq, to just, you know, be by myself and just out in nature. And that's, you know, nature really heals. And I really felt that I needed that. So that was pretty cool. Let me see what kind of questions we have here. Wireless is wishing me a beautiful experience in Turkey. Well, so far Turkey is really blowing my mind. I mean, entering from Iraq in Kurdistan, it was mind-blowingly beautiful, and it was so easy to find a place to wild camp. So that was really, really nice. Oh, and Helen, hi, and I miss you, girl. Morten is here. Hi, Morten. I don't know why you write what the fuck. What do you mean? Corey is here. He's on the water. Not much data. Greetings from Germany. Thank you. Unusual nomad. You lost some weight. I don't think so. By the way, my weight is not up for discussion, so, but anyways, thank you or something. No, I've been eating very well, both in Iraq and also in Jordan. The food was amazing in Jordan, and in Iraq, and now in Turkey, I'm gonna add at least a few kilos here in Turkey. Just the kebab I had this morning was so damn good, and I paid for a huge plate. of food and all these different salads next to it. I paid 3.5 euro. 3.5 euro, guys, it's nothing. And then later I visited this little village in like the very eastern end of Turkey. There was this beautiful rock formations in that area, and I visited. It was a tiny Kurdish village, and so I visited that, and I stopped at a little store, and I started talking with these small girls, and I shopped a Fanta and a cream, like a skin cream, and then I shopped some lollipops for the girls. And then the owner of the shop, he served tea, and then his wife came with like a rice pudding. And then after I enjoyed all that, I got up to leave, and I wanted to pay, and he didn't want to take my money. And I mean, this guy, he for sure needs that money way more than me, but it was just unbelievable. And honestly, that's how it's been for a long time now. The same in Iraq. I almost spent absolutely no money in Iraq. They just wouldn't take my money. Even, you know, like in the hotel, okay, I might pay for the hotel room, but then at night when I had dinner, they wouldn't take my money. It was unbelievable. And so, you know, I just said something about Iraq was being exhausting for me. But it's not that I have like negative thoughts about Iraq. It was just super, super intense. And I think on a motorcycle, especially crossing from Jordan, where there's like intense military presence, it's a bit much. It's a bit much, I have to say. So I have nothing negative to say, but for me it was just exhausting. So Unusual Nomad is asking, what is your experience crossing from Kurdistan to Turkey? At the border, I crossed at this very tiny border all the way to the east, and high up in the mountains. I'm going to have to send you a link because I actually couldn't find that border anywhere, but I put it in iOverlander now, so you should be able to find it there. Otherwise, let me know and I'll send you a link to it. Honestly, they were quite confused as to what to do with me. So it took quite a long time leaving Kurdistan. They just didn't know like where to send me, and they didn't agree, but they were super friendly to me, and I kept getting water and tea and, you know, the usual extremely friendly Kurdish behavior. And then entering Turkey, it was really easy. Very professional. What took time was to wait for the search guys. So the cars in front of me, they were searched really detailed. They basically just took their cars apart. And I was a little bit nervous because, you know, it's never nice to have all your stuff being searched through. But they didn't. They hardly even asked me to open. He asked me what's in your bags, and then I explained, okay, over here is camping gear, over here is cooking gear, this is my clothes. And then he looked in my tank bag and he saw all this shit that I have there, you know, like mosquito spray and power banks and stuff like that. And he just like, opened, closed it again, and he didn't want to see anymore. And then he let me go. And that's actually been the story at every single border for me. I've so far never ever been searched, so that's really lucky. And Helen is writing that she's happy I left Iraq. Yes, I'm also happy about that. I really needed to get out of Iraq, even if I feel it's probably the country I want to go back to and explore in a different way, in a different time of year as well, where it's not so freaking hot, and probably in a car where I'm a little bit more hidden, you can say. Minse is asking if I'm heading towards Denmark. Absolutely, I've been heading towards Denmark ever since I left South Africa. So that's a yes. Unusual Nomad asked if there is public transport report. I did see some buses, so yeah, I might think that there are buses, but I don't know. I mean, I don't need public transport, so it's not something I looked into. I just saw quite a few people in minibuses, so my guess is yes. Yeah. Let me see if there are ADB motor skills. Hi guys. Thanks a lot for your comment. I am enjoying the cooler weather, but I was cold last night. So I was camping at 2,000 meters above sea level here in Turkey. And it was damn cold. I had to get up like at 2 o'clock at night and boil water and put it in 3 different bottles and put on my motorcycle pants in order to get through the night. So I can't believe it. It's like just a few days that I left Mosul in Iraq where it was so stinking hot. And then now I think also in Van, where I am now, it's like at least 1,600 meters above sea level. I'm next to a very big lake, and it's beautiful here. The mountains are amazing. And then I'm gonna head straight west from here. Marcelo, hi dear. Paul is writing where I am. I am in Van in Turkey, in eastern Turkey. Oh, Hamud, hello. He's in Tabuk waiting for his flight. So Hamud, I don't know if you guys saw the reel that I shared earlier today from Saudi Arabia, from Wadi Disa in northwestern Saudi Arabia. So I was there together with Hamud, or rather I met Hamud there, a local guy, and he is today flying to Norway. So enjoy your flight from Tabuk to Norway, Hamud, and say hi to your girlfriend. Let me see if there are any other questions. Samdeesan is writing, crazy with Iraq, I would not do it. Honestly, I would do it again. I think it would be nice to be together with someone in that situation though. You could lean on each other a little bit. Also, I think that the military in some situations even took their task even more seriously because I was alone. And also it was like, let's say I would have been together with a man on another bike, you say 2 bikes together, a man and me. I think that the attention that I got there would have been a little bit different. So I really felt that I was just like free game, you know, at some points. Like there was this one situation where this motorcycle, he was literally chasing me for like 10 kilometers. He kept trying to get me to pull over, and I wasn't having fun. You know, I thought it was really freaking rude. And yeah, it was just too much, and it was like so much in my face all the time, like really like extreme, in a way that I've never experienced anything like that before. So like I couldn't just walk around and just chill like I can feel I can that here now in Van. I can just completely walk around and just, you know, be myself, but there it was just impossible. Unusual nomad, just ask away. So Wesley is asking how are the temperatures? Absolutely brutal temperatures. It's not the right time to visit Iraq for sure. I think it was mostly 38 when I was there, sometimes 42. And I mean, it's not enjoyable at all at those temperatures. And it gets, of course, warmer now in July and August. I think it goes all the way up to 50. And it's simply brutal. I don't know how people live there. I just do not understand it at all. So I would definitely want to come back there at a different time of year for sure. Hey, Oliver is here. Hi, Oliver. So the security situation in Iraq is that there are still things happening there, but they don't want you as a visitor to get hurt. So that's why when you cross from Jordan to Baghdad, you're going to get military escort all the way, and they close the highway at 7 o'clock in the evening, and I think they open it again at 6 or 7 in the morning, so you can't ride in the evening. And so therefore I ended up sleeping in a military post, actually in an old ambulance. And it was terrible because this ambulance had been standing in the sun all day, and it was like a freaking oven. And if it wasn't the temperature, it was the bloody mosquitoes or the flies or the dogs barking, and it was just the worst night, really. But it was also fun. Like afterwards I can laugh about it. It was a cool thing, and I was completely safe. I had a freaking brigade looking after me. No, I did. So Unusual Nomad is asking if I paid for the escort. No, I didn't pay for it. I don't know if you pay for this in any country. Like maybe you do in. Oh yeah, I guess you do actually. Like in China. I guess you do, but no, in Iraq there was no payment for the escort, and the military officer, they loved it. They thought it was so cool. I've never in my life had so many selfies taken. At every stop it was like 50 selfies every single time, and for me it was fun maybe the first 5 times, and after that I got really, really tired of the selfies. I really didn't want to take a freaking another selfie, and especially after I left Baghdad and I went north, I would sometimes be held at the military checkpoints for no freaking reason, just because there would be like a macho dude who just wanted to, kind of demonstrate his freaking power. And then so they would take my passport, and then you're just standing there waiting, and I would get so annoyed, but I had to control it because, that's the last thing you want to do is get annoyed. But I did on the inside. I was really, really angry. And so then their colleagues would come over for selfies, and I'm like, no, give me my freaking passport, then we can do selfies. And often I would just have my helmet on, and they would be like, oh, take your helmet off. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to take my helmet off just because you want a selfie with a blonde girl. I was really so annoyed with it. But all this is also on my side. I didn't show up with the right attitude or with the right energy that I should have. And I have no doubt that the heat played a big role in that. Probably also that I'd been stomach sick the day before I entered Iraq didn't, help me a lot. So yeah, it just wasn't my best, and that's fine too, that it's like that sometimes. Rob.com71, good day from Australia. Hello Australia, 2 a.m. Why are you not in bed at this time? Unusual Nomad, I don't know why you're asking me about public transport. I ride a motorcycle, so how would I know? You have to ask someone else. But I can give you a tip. There is a really cool Facebook group that is called Iraqi Travelers Cafe. Iraqi Travelers Cafe. If you write me after this, I'm gonna send you the link to that group. That is an excellent group. It's very active, and it's Iraqi people who are really excited to have visitors coming to Iraq. So ask that question on that Facebook group, and you'll get answer right away. So Samdeesan is asking, how is Honey doing? She is holding up when I treat her nicely, and I don't always do it. Let me just show you, because she is, let me see, how do I turn this around here? Do you see? She is parked right there. She is holding up really well, but I don't always treat her very well. Yesterday I just tensioned the chain again, and some of you are going to laugh because I have a history of riding with a very, very loose chain, but this time it was really extreme. And I don't know why. It's so stupid. It's the easiest thing is to you just bend down, look at your chain, and check if it needs tightening. Sometimes I'm just so lazy. So yeah, but it's fixed now. Unusual Nomad, you're asking if it's not advisable to travel solo. I guess you mean in Iraq. Yeah, I think you can travel solo. I met actually several people who were traveling solo. There was an Indian lady who was very interested in the Mesopotamian history, and she was traveling solo. She was having a really good time. So yeah, I think you can absolutely do it. I think that the fact that I didn't have the best of times there is I'm colored by my lack of energy and the heat. So I don't think that necessarily everyone else would have a similar experience. It's a really nice country and people are extremely friendly. You will make friends like no time. Unbelievable. What else is going on here? Yeah, Unusual Nomad, you're gonna have to write me and then I will reply with that Facebook group. Katja, oh my God, Katja, you are here, how nice. Learning with your trips, oh, thanks a lot. Well, you're quite the advanced, experienced lady yourself. I hope you are enjoying South Africa at the moment. South Africa is such a nice country. It was, yeah, I loved that part of my trip. Oh, so thanks AGA039 for giving me a compliment on how to deal with border crossings. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at it. Except when I am very, very sensitive to like toxic macho behavior, especially when there's like, for example, this one guy, he just took my passport and then he didn't do anything with it. He just walked around and he made me just wait forever just to demonstrate that, I don't know, I have no idea what was going on in his head, but him and his colleagues were all in on it, that this woman, you just have to wait. And I felt that it was like, who are you to think that you as a woman could just travel around like this? I don't know if that's what they were thinking, but in the end I was ready to just take a detour and just avoid that stop, and I was just like, if you're not gonna let me through, I'm just gonna go another way. But they wouldn't have it. They were just like, you're just gonna sit down and you're gonna be patient and behave. And they were assholes, and that I really struggle with. But I also know that there's no point in being angry because it's just gonna punish myself. But I struggled with that male toxic behavior. So MVD is asking my average daily cost. Yes, it's around $60 US, but that is including everything. So that includes my travel insurance, so my health insurance. It includes my insurance for the motorcycle, both the one I pay at home, but also the one I pay at every border. It includes visas. So like Iraq, for example, was really expensive. It was $200 US to enter Iraq. And can you believe I just spent 8 days there? That's all for $200 US. Turkey was free, so that was great. But I usually say that every border is an average $100 US. Then it's for accommodation, petrol, any activities, like say you want to go to Kruger National Park or Etosha in Namibia or something, then those $60 have to cover absolutely everything. And I have to camp quite a bit in order to keep it on that level. I find that accommodation is really the one that will blow your budget, because you easily pay at least $20. Like, it's hard to find a guest house below $20 anywhere. Like now here in Van in Turkey, I'm looking for a hotel right now, and I'm going to be paying, I think, $30 per night here. Katja, she's in Namibia today. Oh my God, Namibia, it is so freaking amazing. Enjoy Namibia, Katja. Rukana, thank you for your compliment. Mincy, thank you. And Bowling is saying, loving your videos. You seem so easy in front of the camera. You should just know. You should just know how much I cut away, because I'm like mumbling, or I'm saying something stupid, or I can't get the words right, or yeah, well, thanks God for editing. But thank you very much. So Katja, you seem to be agreeing on the $60. So Rob.com is asking if I plan to come to Australia. No, honestly, when I come home from this trip, I'm out of money. I've been traveling now for 3 years, and you do the math. 1,000 days times $60. It's quite a bit of money. So I'm gonna have to go home and find a way to make some money if anyone's creative. So remember to watch my YouTube videos. Just, start a playlist and go to bed. Let's just let it, play all night, because it actually supports me just a little bit, but it's very little at the moment. But I am very happy to now have 8,000 followers. It's amazing, but I do need way more views in order for it to support any of this. It's actually costing me more money to make the YouTube videos than it is that I earn. Sometimes I have to buy data just to upload a video, and I don't like to do that, because it's free content, and I don't want to spend money to upload freaking free content. But I have done that sometimes, and just keeping the camera gear running, all that buying SD cards, and sometimes your camera breaks and you have to replace it, replacing power banks, etc. I just bought a new power bank. Those things are expensive. So keeping the camera gear running, it's really expensive. And also the time is costly. So the time that I am sitting in a hotel and editing, it's another day at the hotel, sometimes 2 days, 3 days, because I spend way too much time editing my videos. So it's not a good business, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I really enjoy creating those videos, and I'm just super thankful that anybody wants to watch them. It's amazing. Lately, I would say since the middle of Saudi, it's been really difficult for me to get time and places to actually edit. I've just been freaking busy all the time, or I've been, hosted by locals. I can't sit in a local home. Like this one night, I just stopped in a village after dark, and this family invited me in to stay with them. And I can't sit there and edit video all the time, and I don't want to miss out on those experiences. So I don't want to be the traveler who's just sitting in a hotel room every night editing. The travel comes before the editing, and then the editing comes when I have time and energy to do it. I do try to publish something every Sunday, because if I don't have that kind of a deadline for myself, then it's easy that things just then it's never gonna be. So I try to keep myself accountable a little bit, but on the other hand, I'm also just trying to make things work. Yeah. Oh, AGA39, think I have too few subscribers for the quality. Well, I agree with you. So let's spread the word. And also, when I come home in August, I'm not going to stop publishing YouTube videos because I can share with you that I have more than 20 terabyte of footage from the very beginning. You know, I've never published a video from Germany or from Italy or Romania or Montenegro. I have so much footage, so don't you guys worry. I'm going to be publishing videos until you puke. So or hopefully you won't puke. Hopefully you'll just watch my videos and enjoy them, I hope. But I'm really looking forward to come home and then just start, making those videos in an environment at home where I can sit and work more efficiently, where I have good Wi-Fi, where I have a good working position. It's pretty exhausting to be in your tent and like edit videos, but it's okay. It's my choice, It is what it is. It's also a little bit fun. Enough about the YouTube videos. Katya writes that she admires my willingness to edit and publish videos, and she says she cannot do it. I really also would say if it's not something you really, really, really want to do, I would not do it. I would actually almost recommend to not even go on social media, except social media is a freaking awesome way to get local contacts. So many of the people I've met locally have been through social media. So in that sense, I really love sharing. I love making the reels, but I'd say if you didn't have that in you, I wouldn't do it because it simply takes away time from traveling. So it's a time stealer, really. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mincy. I try. So Katya is writing that her average is $60 too. Of course, some days are way more expensive than others. So you have to try on an average day to keep your cost down, and it helps a lot to wild camp. I'd say wild camping is the cheapest of them all. Being hosted for me is never the cheapest way because you always end up buying a gift, or you end up buying buying dinner or buying food and cooking dinner or something, and then I often actually end up spending more money than if I'm camping. So camping, and especially wild camping, is the cheapest way for me. As soon as you meet people, you start drinking beer and you go out for dinner, and then you start spending a little bit more money. And even if it might seem like very little money, if you add it up over a year, it's a huge difference. So wild camping is really cool. So the last 2 nights I did very well. I was just in this beautiful nature all for myself. There was a river right next to me, and it was just absolutely stunning, and just what I needed to get a little bit of energy back. Nature really heals and it gives energy. And the fact that I was just all alone there, nobody looking at me, nobody asking for freaking selfies, nobody wanting to interact, just me alone, and the stars were magical because there was no lights there at all. There was no light pollution. So I could just see the Milky Way, and it was so cool. So yeah, that was really just what I needed after intense Iraq. So I don't think did I reply to whether I had a plan to come to Australia? I think I did, because I said when I come home I'll be out of money. Would love to come to Australia one day. I was there when I was 18. I traveled around Australia in an old Ford Falcon panel van together with a girlfriend, and we just had so much fun. And Australia is absolutely stunning, beautiful, and I love the people and I love your beer. Okay, so classics rule, ask what was the easiest country border crossing and what was the hardest. Probably Angola was the hardest border crossing because it was just really difficult to understand where to go, and I don't speak Portuguese. Obviously, if I spoke Portuguese, it would have been way easier. It was still quite friendly, but it was also difficult to get the visa beforehand. Then I would say the Iraqi border was also not the easiest, but it was extremely friendly. And there was a guy who helped me, and I don't think I could have done it without him. I paid him $10 for it, and it was really worth the money because there was no logic, and there were way more stops than there are normally. That's the same in Angola. You know, sometimes you have to go to maybe a middle station to pay a fee, but you don't know what fee it is you're paying, and you don't know what you're doing, and you also don't know what to ask for. So yeah, Iraq was not easy, but on the other hand, with this guy, it just took time, you know. We just walked around a lot to different offices, and then actually in the end, after I left the border, I realized that they forgot to stamp my carnet, so I had to go back and have them stamp the carnet. So yeah. Otherwise, I will have to go back to Central America to, I think, not Guatemala, but Honduras was difficult as well, but that was on my previous trip. Then you also asked for the easiest border crossing. So many. So many easy border crossings. I mean, Turkey was really easy. Yeah, they just did a TIP, a temporary import permit, stamped my stamped my passport. Then I had to wait for the customs guy to maybe search my motorcycle, but they never really did. And that was it, so very easy. But I've had a lot of easy border crossings. Yeah. Let's see. Classics rule, ask, do you get any backlash from females about the way you travel alone? You always think the men probably give you a hard time about that. No, I actually only get a lot of respect. Like today on the highway, I was kind of going the same speed with this little car, and because we were going uphill and downhill, and I'm a little bit slow uphill on the Honda, then they kept like taking over me, and then I took over them later, and there was this old lady next to the driver, and she kept like giving me thumbs up. So no, I usually get a lot of respect from the ladies. I feel in general I just get like so much positive feedback, and a lot of people just simply don't understand. Like, you're doing what? You are alone? What are you? And they keep repeating, like, you're alone. But where are your friends? Like, are you alone? So that's probably the question I respond to the most often. And it's funny because, like, let's say I have a conversation with someone and I tell them, you know, I've been traveling in Africa for 2 years, and then from Africa I put the bike on a ship to Oman, and then I came up through the Middle East through Oman, and I will tell them, you know, which countries I came through. And then they ask, you know, oh, so where are you going next? And then I will say, oh, you know, tonight I'm going to go to, let's say, Van, like I'm here. And they will go, oh, are you driving all the way to Van? And I'm like, yeah, I just like told you that I've gone like through all these countries. Like Van is only 200 kilometers away. That's nothing. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. MBD is writing, it's probably me, but personally I only like the videos in sequence, so the older videos would not be my thing. It's like a story, don't like to jump back too far. Yeah, I really understand that, and that's just how it is. And then you might not be watching my videos, or you would still be watching them because they are nice videos, and that's completely fair enough. You know, there's a big difference between the way I do it and those other people, the bigger YouTubers who have a team doing the things. Since I'm doing everything myself, it's a challenge. And I decided when I started doing the videos that I wouldn't put the pressure on myself to do things in sequence, because it would put like immense pressure on me, and I simply was not willing to do that. So I understand if I would do this like professionally for money, and it would be like my career, then yeah, but this is free content. This is just me, a private person. I don't make any significant money on it. As I said earlier, it doesn't even cover my costs. So I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on myself. And then obviously some are not going to enjoy my videos because of that. But then that's how it is. So thanks for your comment. I understand. I also agree. I do know that a sequence is better. I'm just not going to do it. Let's see. Yeah. Classics rule, ask if I mail gifts back home to family and friends along your travels. No, I don't. I never do. Now I feel bad. I never do. I wish I did. When I was younger, I would always send postcards home, but no, I don't. I'm already so busy just posting on Instagram and doing videos, so no. I feel bad. Oh, and Classics Rule is from Idaho in USA. I have to ask you, Classics Rule, is Salmon River, is that in Idaho? Because the landscape I was riding through yesterday in Turkey just reminded me so much of the Salmon River. And then I was like, where is Salmon River? Is it in Idaho? I don't remember. So Katya is asking, what are my plans after touching base with family? So when I come home, I'm gonna do a tour of speeches. First of all in Denmark, hopefully also in other countries if they will have me. I would love to do that. And then I'm gonna be doing YouTube videos. I'm gonna be looking for a job as well, and hopefully just riding a lot and camping in Denmark and in Sweden and anywhere else in nature. And then we'll see. Honestly, if I had the money, I would love to go home and just update all my gear, because my gear is done. Like my pants are falling apart. My tent is so ripped, it's unbelievable. So I can't camp in the rain at the moment. It has to be dry. So I need new gear, and that of course is costly. And also it's quite exhausting to be on the road for this long. So I would really love to come home and just be home. But then the way I feel at the moment is it would be so cool to take off and then do the whole of Asia. I would really love to do that. So we'll see, but you never know life is no guarantee, right? And I try to always preach that there is only now, and we gotta live in now. I don't know if I'm gonna, survive the next turn here I've heard that Istanbul is pretty hectic, so who knows? That might be my last city. No, I don't intend to be morbid, but it's a fact that we don't know how long we're gonna be around, and so I just try to be in the moment and enjoy right now, and then not plan so long ahead. But I do miss being home in my house. So the people living in my house are there until December, and then I'm gonna move back into my house and be with my cat and start doing some work in my garden, and probably my house needs a little bit of love as well. And that's another part of my life that I really enjoy. I love my house, so it's going to be nice to be home. But I'm still going to be riding my motorcycle all the time, of course. Bye, MVD. All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, I can share with you that I'm gonna now enjoy Turkey the next coming weeks. I'm really excited. This is my first time in Turkey, and so far it's just living up to every single expectation. Like for the first second that I crossed the border, the views, the scenery was absolutely freaking stunning. And the people are so friendly and just so chill and really easy to talk to, and the food is amazing, and I think I'm really gonna love Turkey. I have a feeling it's one of those countries that you want to come back to again and again and just explore the tiny mountain roads, and there's just endless amounts of mountains here. So it's really exciting to be here, and then from Turkey I'm going to cross into Bulgaria, Romania. I hope to run into Luisa in Romania. That would be really nice. I miss her. And then from there I have a little bit of a dream to meet Anna in Ukraine, in western Ukraine, but I'm not really sure she's going to be there, but that would be amazing. But otherwise, I'm pretty much just going to cross through Europe back to Copenhagen to meet up with my family and my friends, and it's going to be so freaking cool. So I think I'm going to be crossing the border to Denmark probably around the 21st of July. So, oh my God, that's so soon. And Martin, Overlander, no coriander, he just arrived home yesterday. So welcome home, Martin. I'm sure he has all kinds of panic at the moment and just like, where am I? Did it happen? And Henrik Wulff is writing, he's looking forward to Gasolina. Yeah, me too. There's a new really cool motorcycle festival in Denmark called Gasolina, and I've been invited to come and do 2 speeches there. One is going to be my travels, and the other speech is going to be about filming on a motorcycle. So that's pretty cool as well. So Classics Rule ask if I get a chance to watch other adventure riders' channels. Absolutely not. That's something I do when I am not traveling. So no, on the road I don't watch a lot of, I mean maybe once every 2 months I watch half a video or something, but no, I take my time to be here while I'm here. I do listen to a lot of podcasts though, so like when I'm in the tent, I love to listen to true crime. So I will usually skip the episodes that is about like someone being murdered in a tent. But other than that, I don't mind any really scary true crime podcast. I listen to everything. Chris Nilsson is wishing me a good trip on. Maybe we will see each other in Denmark or Norway. Yeah, that would be amazing. Any riders I would like to meet? Yes, Classics Rule, you ask any riders I would like to meet. I would really love to meet Anna. Anna, who stopped her travels to go home to her home in Ukraine and be part of the battle that they are doing now in Ukraine, and it's very, very sad. And I don't know if you follow Anna. If not, then I can recommend it. It's really cool to read her posts when she is out there meeting different military posts, and it's really, really cool, and we should support her as much as possible. It's very sad, and I would really love to meet Anna. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one I really hope to meet. And then, as I said, I really want to meet Luisa again on my way home, since I'm crossing through Ukraine. That would be amazing. And you know, any other traveler. I'm always up for meeting travelers. Hello, Kema. Welcome. Regards from Moldova. Oh, very cool. So Bowling is asking, what would be the one thing you'd change before your next epic adventure? That's a really good question. That's a very, very good question, actually. I'm trying to think now. I wish I had a quick answer for that. I mean, because the only thing I can think of now is that I would have loved to have like 2 finger levers on my bike. But that seems like such a tiny detail, but that's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, you know, the fact that I did Alaska to Argentina in 2011, I just had a lot of experience on what worked for me before I left. So I really adjusted my things to that. So I'm super happy with my luggage setup. I'm happy with the bike. I'm very, very happy with the bike. I'm happy with the navigation. I mean, there's always something that doesn't work, something that's broken or something like that. But I can't really say that there's anything that I would change. It would maybe be a nice communication system so that I could listen to music while riding. That would be really nice. Yeah. So Classics Rule is asking, what is my profession back home? I've been working for IKEA the last 12 years, responsible for the Danish online channel. So I'm like a business professional, very much focusing on strategy, budgeting, setting organization, stuff like that. So management, basically. All the boring stuff. A lot of PowerPoints, I tell you, a lot of PowerPoints. I hate making PowerPoints. Kim599 says he loved watching my bike life. So I plan on continuing until end of July. Then I've been on the road for exactly 1,000 days. And that's enough. That's enough, guys. Any touring tips for a guy planning on doing a European tour? Yes, if you are novice going, I can promise you already now that you're gonna take way too much shit. Just take as little as you can, and then put all that out on the floor, and then get rid of half of it, at least. Because you're not going to use it, you're not going to need it. People, they bring freaking chairs and small camping tables and grill, and I don't know how much shit people bring. It's unbelievable. And you might use it like twice, and is it really worth bringing it? And I feel that bringing too much gear is like tearing you, it's like holding you down. It's like you get so invested in all this stuff. So bring as little as possible. Be super flexible. And then another tip, I know a lot of dudes especially, you don't freaking stop when you travel. You don't stop and talk, and you don't stop and take photos. Of course, I know it's not all of you, but a lot of you just ride. And I've heard so many guys who afterwards told me, I just wish I had stopped more. It was so beautiful. I don't know why I didn't stop and take photos. So stop, even if, like stop 20 times a day. Maybe say, have a goal. I'm going to stop 20 times a day and take a photo. Because those are going to be lovely memories. And every time you stop, you're going to have a chance of chatting with a local. Always stop and buy something from ladies. If an old lady is selling vegetable on the side of the road, stop and buy some vegetables from her. Even if you don't need it, just do it anyways and pay her double. She deserves it. That's all the tips I'm going to give you. When did I learn English? Well, in school, first of all, and then I studied in Canada for half a year, and then I've been always using English in my in my career. And so that's basically it. Chem599, how long do you ride in a typical day on the bike? Maybe 200-300 kilometers is a pretty average day, but I think my shortest day is like 12 kilometers and the longest was maybe 600. So it can really differ depending on the situation. But I like to keep it on like 300 is nice. Above 300 I start to get tired because I also stop a lot and I like to take my time and I like to talk to people, and then more than 300 it's difficult. Let me see if there are any other questions. I don't think so. Oh, Alex Chris is saying, thanks for sharing your journey. It inspired me to get my motorcycle license. Oh my God, thank you. Oh, that's a big compliment. I really appreciate that. That's so nice. So I hope I didn't miss any of your questions, guys. How many languages do I speak? I speak Danish, Swedish, German, and English, and a tiny bit of French, and that's it. Yeah. And Chem599 is asking how the CRF is holding up. The CRF has now done 87,000 kilometers. Can you believe it? It's unbelievable. And she's doing really, really well, as long as I treat her well. She's... I don't know if I can share this on YouTube. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to do it. So when I cross borders, I hide my drone in front of the air filter. And so I've been riding with my drone hidden there since I entered Iraq. And then I took it out today. So it's quite a long distance that the drone has been sitting there in front of the air filter. And the Honda has just been running like... So when people, they are opening up the air intake and they're cutting away plastic to make sure the bike gets more air, forget it. The Honda doesn't care. It just goes. It doesn't matter that there's a freaking drone sitting there blocking the air intake. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. I of course don't use my drone illegally. I would never do that. Right. Anyways, guys, we have been live now for... Bolin is saying CRF are quite indestructible. They are, aren't they? It's unbelievable, really. It's just a little basic piece of mechanics. It's not really great at anything, but it's good at everything. It's like it just does what it needs to do. And I'm just so impressed with this bike. And I know it would have been nice to have maybe like a 400 or a 500 or something, and maybe have like 50 horsepower. I would like that. My previous bike, the BMW 650 GS, It was a pretty perfect bike in terms of power, I'd say, but I felt the bike was a little bit too heavy, and that specific bike wasn't reliable anymore, so there was no way I was going to take that bike on this trip. I knew I wanted a new bike for this trip, but in terms of power it was pretty perfect. But it's not like I've had less fun on this journey with the 250, so you know, it's in terms of travel, the size of bike is actually not gonna make a difference. In terms of riding, let's say you want to do curves in the Alps, well, maybe you want a different bike, but as an all-round travel adventure bike, I think it's a pretty perfect bike, especially for Africa. So Christian Thiel is asking, so by the time I come home, I will have done around 100,000 kilometers through 45 countries. So yeah. So I guess that's an average of 100 kilometers per day. Doesn't sound so much, but it actually is a lot, because it doesn't take a lot of days off to really you know, ruin the average. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining this live session from Turkey. I hope you bear with me in terms of the little bit negative comments around Iraq. I hope that you understand that I don't think that there's anything wrong with Iraq. I just think that I wasn't in the right place to really deal with that challenge, because it is a challenge, there's no doubt about it. So you just gotta take those comments with a little bit of a grain of salt. And I'm just really happy to be in Turkey now, and I am so excited to explore. So if any of you have any good tips for Turkey, please send them. I'll be very thankful. And let me just see if there are any final questions. Oh, Trispor Moped, you are late, dear. You are so late, but that's okay. If you have any questions, hit me now. Wesley, it's been a pleasure. Kim599, any regrets on the touring lifestyle? No, it's freaking amazing, man. It's like ultimate freedom, ultimate freaking freedom. I love this part of my life. It's not my life, it's just a part of my life, and it's been 3 years now, and it's just so cool. I'm so happy. You know, I could have spent my money on a big television and a new car, but I chose to spend the money on this journey. And I don't have much at home because I sold everything. I didn't sell everything, I still have my furniture and stuff, but you know, anything I didn't need, I sold. But I would never have been without this journey. And it's still going on. Remember that it's not the end yet. So stay tuned, guys. Let's see. Christian Thiel is asking if I want a new motorcycle for the next trip. Yes, either this bike would get an overhaul, or I would get a new bike. I would really love the 300L. I would love also to try out other bikes, but I really want something lightweight. Lightweight is just super important for me, especially since I'm traveling alone. David H is asking where I am. I am in the Kurdish part of Turkey, and I'm heading towards Europe. And Classics Rule, yeah, Salmon River is in northeast Idaho, and I love that area. It's so pretty. All right. Everybody, thanks so much for joining me. I'm really happy that I could go live because I haven't had any network for days, and it's really nice to be in Turkey. I'm gonna get myself a nice hotel room. I'm gonna charge all my devices. I'm gonna wash my clothes because I'm so stinky, and I'm just gonna enjoy it here and work on my next YouTube episode. So see you around, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.